Hi, I'm Construction Gamer, and this is the UK Northern Powerhouse on Transport Fever 2. This is going to be episode number 8 in the series, and in this episode, as promised, we are going to make a start on the East Coast main line. In the last episode, we built the line between Leeds and Sheffield, connecting those two up together. So now you can potentially, if you wanted to get from Liverpool to Sheffield and Leeds via rail and Hull, it's all connected up in this sort of a little network, and hopefully the East Coast main line will start to tie in things, well, particularly on the East Coast. Since the last episode, I have repainted these again into more of a green colour. Somebody pointed out that the locomotives on the East Coast main line weren't in fact blue. The only locomotives that were blue were the streamliners, and I'm not going to try and guess which class it was, but it was the East Coast streamliners were in a blue colour, but in general locomotives were in a green. So I've painted them back. Well, I haven't painted them back, I've painted them to a greeny colour that I could find that was a close match to the reference material. Unfortunately, when you change the colour of the vehicle, it does change the colour of the carriages as well, so that's a bit... I don't think they would have been that green or anything like that in real life, but unfortunately when you unless I was to replace the whole vehicle, we're just going to have to live with that. But we won't be sticking with these locomotives and these contests for long anyway, so we don't need to worry too much about the different colour schemes of the early engines that are in service. In terms of profitability, it's just a reaching around. The Leeds Sheffield route is reaching around the break-even point. Liverpool Manchester is one of the better ones, well, it is the best performing route. They've got 5 carriages on their trains now. The Manchester Sheffield via Woodhead isn't doing so well. It's gone up a little bit, it just keeps bouncing around up and down. I had upgraded these to 5 because some of the trains were going out full with 4, so yeah, well, at least as you can see from the bottom left there, we've got plenty of money. I had just ever so slightly sped up the game speed, the date speed, just so we can lock some better locomotives for the East Coast main line. So what was I thinking? I was thinking we will just make a start. So Darlington obviously is a station, or is on the East Coast main line, and I'm thinking obviously it wouldn't be a terminus in real life, and I think actually what are these? UK generic they're new, I think. Must have had another update for the UK building. So the building size, what does that mean? Well, you can make them absolutely enormous, I think, or small. We'll just stick with number 2. Number of tracks, we will go with 3. Platform length, it's a mainline station, so they're going to have to be 240 metres long. Canopy long, I guess. Track type standard for now, and if I put this somewhere here, I know it's a bit far from the actual town centre, but what I'm thinking excuse me, is that Middlesbrough will need to be connected up at some point, so I'll have a service calling into here possibly, but I need to research what sort of services we have calling into Middlesbrough. So yeah, that's that straight. Nice and simple. Electrification, no, not yet, because we're still in the steam era, although I have moved us on to 1939. We're still very much in the steam era in the United Kingdom. Next station along is Thirsk. We're going to have to demolish their yes, I know it's a main route, down. So Thirsk is going to be two platforms for now, and we'll just bolt that straight onto the side like that. So coming down, and then we're into York, and then the next stop will be, we bypass Selby. I think York in real life is a curve station, so it is unfortunate we don't have curve stations turned on, but not to worry, we'll put that in there. Maybe just bring that down. Yes, down, down. Oh no, not when it's not when it's connected like that. So we've got the 3 stations in. We'll have to do something here. Try and keep the speed up as much as we can coming into York. Now the East Coast main line is relatively straight, so we want to try and replicate that as much as we can and keep the track nice and straight, keep the speed up all the time as we head across. So I mean, we can start to curve a little bit, but yeah, in general we want to keep it. Actually, we put high speed. Just going to check the speed on that when we do finally start to upgrade it, and I've just put it on the wrong side. Have I? Where am I? Have I put that on the wrong side? Yes, I have. And I've created a bridge where I don't really want a bridge, so this is all being knocked back. And it's a stone bridge as well. Yeah, get rid of that. Don't want bridges where we don't really need them if I can help it. We can sort that out in a bit. That's not hugely offensive, but we'll upgrade it to one of these other looking ones. So that sort of brick colour I think is a bit more suitable. And we're going to two-track the whole thing from the get-go. I'm not going to be messing around with just single tracking it. We do want it all to be two-track. And we can afford to do a little bit of smoothing. We don't have to worry hugely about money, but we don't want to be going mad. It's just those really angular edges which I dislike. So we can just knock them back a little bit. Just make them look a little bit nicer, because they are a bit unnecessary. And then, where are we? Where's Darlington? Over there somewhere. So again, want to keep things nice and straight-ish as we can. Just check the speed on that. I'm not going to spend I mean, yeah, extra 30 grand that, so we can we don't need to be going high speed just yet. Another bridge, no, that's a bit excessive. Bring that back to there, and then keep it going up like so. And then we can possibly have a little bridge. I don't mind little bridges here and there, but I just don't want any huge, really long, excessively long bridges, or viaducts as they should actually be called. Try and bring that around, just having a look where Darlington is. Just trying to keep this as straight as possible. Don't really want a tunnel, thank you. It's a bit unnecessary. And then we should just be able to hook that straight up. No, we're not. We're not having one of them. Right, we'll start out from this end actually, because we need to put in a crossover, because obviously, unlike the rail station, it is going to have to be a terminus, as it's our most northerly station on the West Coast Main Line. And I'm going to put a diamond crossing in to save space. Didn't think it was going to let me do it then. Right, so that is nice and nice. Why is it going up like a ski slope? Go away. Don't want ski slopes, just want flat. Did I? No, I didn't. I don't know. Let's try that again anyway, without the ski slope. Put this back in. Try and keep it a fairly decent speed. Transport Fever 2 does seem a little bit more forgiving and a little more willing to let you have high speed diamond crossovers than Transport Fever 1 did. And what we'll do while I'm here, 1939, no, we're still going to be on semaphores, I'm pretty sure of that. we will upgrade to electric signalling later on when we start going into electrification. So where were we? Let's try and put it across straight in one go and see what it does. We'll snap to the right side, and now that's going to be horrendous, so we'll have to go from this end, and we'll just have to bit by bit it just to try and get it looking half decent. Right, now you can be a what you call it, one of them, a bund to there, and I really would like to be playing the game forward actually while I'm doing this, just so we can get a bit of income coming in as we are building. So I'll put that connection back in, go underneath. Actually, what we will do is get rid of that. That should maybe a little bit further down like that, and then don't really want a tunnel under for the road, so we'll go with something like, stick with the nice red brick colour. I quite like that, like so, nice and straightforward, and then connect all this back up so they can stop complaining at me, and I can unpause the game and we can continue to make a little bit of money. Maybe a little bit excessive. One way, country, 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 sorted. Unpause the game, they're happy now, and then we'll continue this track and try and make it so it actually reaches there without a massive viaduct. What side are we on? We are on the right hand. Where are we? Where? There it is. I may as well should bring this 2-tracking up so we don't get confused. So I have just checking over. I have unpaused the game. Right, so we are there. Let's see what this says now. It's still trying to build a huge viaduct, which is not what I want. Yeah, that's just about acceptable. Might need to do a little bit of smoothing, or a lot of smoothing, with that, and then hopefully that'll tie into there. No fancy viaduct please, just nice earthworks, keep it simple, and then we will do a little bit of smoothing, spending all of our cash. Now we do have, what, 90 million in the bank there, which is a healthy bank balance for 1939, but the trains are getting more expensive now. I have played the game forward a little bit, like I said, just so we can unlock some of the better vehicles and better passenger wagons, especially for the East Coast Main Line. Just finish this off, come on. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but this terrain tool feels a lot smaller than Transport Fever 1. I know in the map editor it's absolutely enormous, so you can do huge swathes of land quite quickly, but in the actual game itself it just seems really small. And take some of this back. There was a little bit of track there which I've forgotten about. Chuck that in there. So we've got quite a lot of this in, and I know I said I should keep it straight, but we have got a bit of a curve in there. Oh, that's a shadow. Don't want to go mad with the smoothing gun, but I would just like to take those sharp edges off. So we're getting doing all right now. So now what we want to do is build a line over past this Leeds Selby line. So we will put a bridge straight across that, again in the nice stone colour. Can I do that? Alright, that'll do. I'm not sure if that's actually the matching colour or not, but never mind. And actually what I want is, will you? No, you won't, damn it. Get rid of that, and then get rid of that. And then just put that in there. And then, facing York, we want a nice gentle curve with earthworks rather than viaduct to connect that up. Where are we? Don't think that this isn't looking particularly straight for an East Coast main line to me, but it'll be straighter than the West Coast main line, I know that much. I mean, we don't have to obsess about it. If we just have a look at the high speed, we've got 186 miles per hour, which is more than enough for the East Coast main line, which only has a top speed of 125. It was always envisaged, especially with electrification, that it would run to 140. I know the Intercity 225s could run at that speed if they were able to, but unfortunately the existing East Coast main line doesn't have the correct signalling in place to allow it to run faster than 125 miles per hour, and I think there are still quite a few level crossings on the East Coast main line as well, which also precludes operating faster than that. So it's not so much the straightness of the track or the locomotives or the trains that are on in service, it's just the signalling that's holding things back. So when we finally start getting some newer trains operating on this route, they will actually get up to possibly 140 miles per hour, even though they're not really supposed to, but we will let them off, as there is not a lot we can do about it with Transport Fever 2. So right, we're almost at Doncaster. A bit more gentle than that, please. Just checking with the high speed. I will upgrade it to high speed once we start messing around with electrification, but that won't be until the late 70s, so we don't really need to worry about it too much. We'll keep the costs down and just get this route built as fast as possible. Doncaster will be towards the right. I think Doncaster will be our final stop for this episode, but I don't think we've done too badly. I'm just going to save the game. I don't think I've got autosave on, so we were going to save it manually. Just looked as if the computer was struggling a bit there. So, yeah, I'm not completely happy with that little unnecessary curve. I'm going to spend the money now. Get it done. Oh, I think we're still saving. Excuse me. Come on, are we still saving? Or no? Yeah. Right. Yeah, we're going to do this right and do it for right first time rather than coming back. I know we've got to upgrade it to overhead and all that later on, but I just would like it. Ooh, that's different. The ground has stayed sort of semi how it was when we had track. Funny little line there. Right, so we get this over here. Let's see if that looks a little bit better. Get rid of that. It's a little bit better. Really don't need any unnecessary curves on the East Coast main line. Smooth all that out. That probably should have been a viaduct there, but never mind. Smooth it back out like that. Smooth some of that out, and then So it's Doncaster and then Retford, isn't it? Not entirely sure which side of Doncaster the train station is, but I'm not going to worry too much about it, and I'm just going to dump it in there. 2 platforms again. You can always upgrade it later on if we want to. And Retford, Newark, Grantham. You know what, we're going to do this. Yeah, I know it's a main connection. Possibly a little bit excessive with demolition there. I know we've got a lot of money, but we haven't got that much money. 240 metres long, please. No, stop growing. I want the station to be close to the town centre. Again, 2 platforms, which is facing the completely wrong direction. Yes, yes, get rid of that. So we want to be up in that sort of direction. We'll just tag it onto the end of this street here, like so. Not worrying about the names of the stations as we just build a random one. Nice. And this should just go straight across to Doncaster, like so. Yeah, we'll put this track in and then we'll put any connections that we've got missing as soon as we identify them, just so we can continue with the game. No, tag onto there please, thank you. Or snap rather, snap is the correct word. Right, so we want streets, do we? No. Country road. Let's see if we can just nice and simply do that. Come on, that should be high enough by now. Like that, and then just bring that around. So yeah, that keeping them happy. We'll do a little bit of smoothing, just take the edges off. Smoothing up to here, and then we will connect Doncaster up. Let's see, I'm going to just chuck this in. I'm going to see what these level crossings look like. If they haven't distorted the track too much, I might just leave them for now. Can always replace them later on. You know what, I don't think that looks hideous. Could be wrong. The only way you find out is when you actually take the train journey at the end of the episode and you see that your junction you just made and you think looks nice and flat is actually all over the place, which is what I want to try and avoid in this playthrough. In my West Coast series I wasn't overly fussed about it. I did try and make them as smooth as possible, but some of them really were quite lumpy and almost like roller coasters. So in this, if you spot in the journey at the end, the junction which looks absolutely hideous, then do let me know and I will change it. Right, so we're in Retford and then we're coming down to Newark. Press pause. So quick to jump in and oh, I want to build a road. No road. Train station. Like so. And Grantham, this is going to be a main connection, I know, but we're going to get rid of all this. This has actually become quite an expensive project, considering it's on the flat for most of it. Yeah, push this back actually a little bit. If we press the right button, that would help most definitely. So just tag that on there, and we want a diamond crossover, which wants to be flat this time. Flat. See, that says flat and that says flat. Which one is flat? Who knows? Oh, we're auto saving. Is it going to let us build? No, it's not. Come on. I know this is a Megalomaniac map, but it shouldn't take this long. Especially this early on in the game. It doesn't bode well for when we've got a huge network going on. And like I said in the last episode, I've got a solid state hard drive now. I thought it would save a bit quicker than that. You'll be going, is there any other option than a solid state hard drive? And it'll be yes. Old disk drives, which I've been clinging on for years, finally gave up. We want our signalling there on the correct side of the track. I've given up saying the right side, which means correct obviously, but people do get confused. Now that looks a bit mad. I have to redo that. I didn't look properly, did I? Get rid of you. Another station. In the right direction this time. Like that. Get your track in nice and flat. Let's eyeball it rather than relying on the indicator. I did say I didn't want to do diamond crossovers, but with the actual scale of everything and with the distances, I think doing a proper modern crossover just wouldn't be very space something or other. Take up too much space, so I'm going to have to go with diamond crossovers. Ooh. No, do not like that. Right, we'll come out to about here, trying to go downhill, and then little bridge to there. Maybe not so much downhill. And then where's Newark? Over there. And then downhill as much as you can. For a bit of earthworks. I think that's the right balance of earthworks to viaduct. We're not going for uber detailing or mega accuracy, but I think those crazy long bridges or viaducts that the game likes to build are a bit inappropriate for this, because we are trying to be a little bit accurate, a little bit. Which is where your comments come in. I do appreciate them. If I've made any serious mistakes, I will try and rectify them. But we do have to limit our expectations to within the realms of the game and the actual scale of the map itself, which I'm not sure how off it is, but it's off by a factor of something. Yeah, I'm not having. Whoa, big gouge. No, we're not having tunnels, and we're not having big gouges either. So again, we're going to have to do this bit by bit. Now, the East Coast is famously flat, but this is proving not to be, and that is probably because of my poor map making skills, and again, the scale of the map is just a little bit out, but it's good enough for me just to have a little bit of fun with. Right, let's see what this does. We'll try and do it again in one go and see what sort of. It's got to tell me it's too much slope or something now, isn't it? Right, put that in there. Yeah, I'm going to have to use a bit of smoothing. A lot of smoothing. That's going to cost. That's going to cost about 5 million to put right. So what did we do? Where did we break? That's connected. Newark and Lincoln's connected. That's not Newark and Grantham. Grantham? Really? Why are the authorities unhappy with me? What have I done? Don't you mean Sleaford? Yes, Sleaford mods. That's the only reason I know is Sleaford, is because of the band Sleaford mods. That shows my ignorance to the UK, on the East Coast anyway, in particular, which I really should rectify, especially with this series. Try and improve my knowledge of the East Coast towns a little bit. So, get rid of that. Chuck that in there. That has made them a little bit happier. I'm going to sort this out before I forget, because this really is quite hideous. I'm going to turn the strength up to max power. Try and get this to look as good as possible. What did I say, 5 million? I'll keep my finger pressed down until we get the final total. We're already at 3 and it's not looking any nicer. I don't mind some of the kind of white chalkiness or poking through. I suppose it might be chalk around this sort of area of the country. 3 million. I just don't want it to look like you're in a huge chasm, because that'd just be ridiculous, especially for the journey that I record for the end. Push this back. Ooh, it's slowing down a bit, but I'm still not completely happy. I just wish the terrain editing thing area was a little bit bigger. Yeah, we'll take some of that edge off as well while we're here. That will do. We have built the whole of the East Coast main line, or it is a bit sinuous and a bit curvy for the East Coast main line. Not happy with that, you know. I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to just chuck a service on there. So we haven't done too bad actually from the top to the bottom of the map. It's a Megalomaniac map as well, so it is pretty big. Although we do have the benefit of having a flat, relatively flat terrain on which to build. Now, has that put them? Oh, it has. It's done it on the right side for once. The correct side, I think. Which is nice. That makes a nice change, even though I didn't set the signals to one way. Don't think I need to put any more signals in, because I think the stations act as block sections, so that is going the wrong way. Damn. Knew it was too good to be true. Right, what I will do is we'll come down to Thirsk and see if we can force it, because I don't really want to have to go to all the stations and change there. So one way, yes please. No, it's just going to upset him because he can't figure out for himself, and the station is the wrong colour, I know that, but hey ho. Now, what I normally do to change the platforms is go to the station, and what Colonel Failure, when I'm watching his videos, what he does is he actually goes on the route, which is Darlington. To Grantham. Yeah. Grantham. And what he normally does is he'll go to manage line, and then see, this just looks really confusing to me from this way, so no, I'm going to do it my way. Just looks confusing. It probably isn't at all, but to me it does. So we don't really care about that because it's a terminus anyway. Coming up here, and terminals, you want to be on, if the little icon didn't, you want to be on 2, you want to be on 1, like so. This is the very slow way to do it. So that you want to be on 2, you want to be on 1. I think 10 on 2, 4 on 1. Any more? Lots more. 11 on 2, 3 on 1, and last one is 12 on 2, 2 on 1. Has that made you happy now? Are we on the right side, the correct side of the track? We are, great. So what I'm going to do now is put in a depot going that direction. Does that look like? Looks alright. Chuck that in there. Buildings, we want a depot. Chuck that in there like that. And then come down. I don't know what that depot is going to be called. I really should name these depots. That'd be handy. Tracks. Just a piece of track, just a junction, please. Like that. Which is flat. And then a depot which is going to be in the air. Yeah, that's going to have to be fixed. I know it's only a depot, but still, that just doesn't look right at all. Do a bit of that. And then, so that depot is called Grantham Train Depot, funnily enough. And I'm assuming this one is going to be called Darlington. Darlington Train Depot. So, what I want to do is buy a vehicle from here, and we are going to go with a steam, and then we're going to go with a... We're going to go with a Flying Scotsman, and we're going to have one of them, passenger wagons, passenger carriages, and they are going to be in a deep maroon colour, all brown. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Any less would just be rubbish. We're going to have, this is going to cost a fortune. This is going to bust the bank actually. Right, because I was thinking this is because it's such a long distance, we're going to need 4 trains, I reckon. So we're going to go for it. Get those, and they want to be 25%, and no, we don't want to do that. Stop. Thank you. And then at this end, buy vehicles, steam locomotive, go for a Scotsman, add passenger, that, they were in that colour, or that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 of them, buy, and then running cost like that. So we had those, and then those, and that will hopefully space them, and the fact that we haven't got any signals will help hopefully space them a little bit more as well. But yeah, this better start paying pretty quickly or I'm going to be in trouble. Just putting the game on high speed just for a little minute, just to get the trains going. Just looking, are these all connected? I mean, they haven't got full spread. I do need to put some shuttles in, but they are actually at least connected up a little bit to each of the towns. No, it's not connected to Selby yet. Connected to York. You've got a bit of coverage there, and you haven't got any at all. So just gonna pause it for a minute. And we want street. That doesn't look hideous. Like that. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I'll have to get some shuttle buses in. Make sure we've got good coverage to the train station, or the railway station rather. So we've got a little bit of coverage there, not a huge amount, but we will improve that at some stage. But I'm pretty pleased with the progress we've made in this episode. Oh no, these seem keen. If the destinations haven't kicked in quite yet, so I don't know why they're so keen. But hey, if they want to build, quite happy for them to do that. So where are our trains? They are there. Already quite far behind each other, which is good. And we've got people waiting, which is even better. Not enough, but we've still got people waiting, which is good. What I'm going to do now is just wait for him to get to the other end of the track, which is miles away. So yeah, we've got the East Coast Main Line in. I'm not completely happy with it, if I'm honest. I might just straighten out some sections later on when we start upgrading and electrifying the likes of that. That is a bit unnecessary. But if we can just get that tied in, and my thinking is then we can start to tie in the rest of the towns onto the main line itself, and we can start doing a bit of a web network of the tracks and get. I would like to get Leeds connected up, so like so. That's so we've got all the towns that are connected by rail connected all to each other, if you get what I mean. So we've got a network of services operating. Have you picked up your destinations? 127. You could do better than that. These are costing me a fortune. 200. That's just £400,000 gone out of the bank. They're losing me 8 million. Can I subsidise those? No. Is the answer to that. Yeah, we can't sustain those types of losses for any period of time. Yeah, because the best year we had, or the best quarter, was 7 million from rail journeys. Road was 5, so we are. This is going to have to turn a profit fairly soon. So what I'm going to have to do is put a load of shuttle buses in, connect maybe Sleaford to Grantham, buy a bus for now. Lincoln to Newark, Gainsborough to Retford, nothing to Doncaster because it's too far away. York maybe to Harrogate, Thirsk's a bit better, and Middlesbrough, Doncaster, and just get people fed into this route before we hemorrhage money. So that is the East Coast Main Line built for this episode. I think we're going to be returning to it at some stage, but I'm going to leave it there for today. And when this train arrives, I'm going to jump on board and we can take a ride on the East Coast Flying Scotsman from Grantham up to Doncaster. I'll just press pause before he goes anywhere. So I'm going to leave it there for today. And you can say until next time, bye bye.